Okay, we're just going to have a look at, there's still some that are clinging on there, see? So the alcohol in the toothbrush doesn't get rid of them all, but what it will have done is loosen them. So just one final underneath each leaf to get them up. See how it's done that? And you can see them sticking on there. Oh yeah, there's still a lot on this one. But then this was the leaf that was most affected. It's probably the leaf that was touching the plant that infected it. Yeah, look at that. Look at them all. Horrible little things. And because this is in the kitchen, and I don't really grow orchids in the house, but there are a few in the wintertime that I will bring into the house, and things like Paphiopedilums, which will always come in the house because I don't want them to be sprayed to get into the crowns. They are in here, and I don't want them to become infected with scales. So, there's orchids really are a commodity, aren't they? Because they're not cheap. So you want to protect your investment. Right, I think I've done all of that. Still haven't finished. We are going to save this plant, which is a good thing. I only got a couple of leaves with the spots. I will be cutting those leaves off though, because one day, in about another 6 months, because this is going to be in quarantine for 3-4 months now, not touching any other plant. I've got plants in the greenhouse already, 2 that are hanging up away from everything, because I'm actually even going to mount this afterwards. So I'm actually going to spray this on the bench. Now you might think that's crazy, and it's in the kitchen, but because if any have landed around here, I don't want them to survive, so I don't mind a little bit of the insecticide getting on the bench, because then we're going to wash it with soapy water afterwards. So what I'm going to do is it's just on a really, really light setting. Now I'm just going to spray. Each of them, we're going to do the upper leaves first. God, this stuff stinks. You done that leaf? Yep. This one, and then this one. Right, it's a systemic as well, which means it's going to get into the root of the plant. I only ever really use systemic insecticides because I like it when the roots can absorb the insecticides to get right into the plant itself, and it stops it from, well, it doesn't stop, but you know what I mean. It helps the plant so that there's still one there, is it? No, I've got it. You really want to make sure you're looking hard here. That's why I do the underside at the end, because it means I get to go over it again. Now, through that process, I've managed to be able to actually get the pseudobulbs as well. But what I am going to do is just give the top of the pot a good spray, because a lot of these pests, not just scale, but they really do survive underneath in the potting soil. In fact, the amount of times I've bought like hybrid phallies and stuff like that for work. There's one that's still surviving there. You really want to make sure you've gotten them all. So hybrid phallies, you buy them. It's still, look at that, there's still 2 in there. Now they may already be dead, but do you really want to chance it? So you really have to get the plants a good going over, and it's why you need to still keep them in quarantine even after you think you've got them, or after doing something like this. There you go, pull the sheath back. There's more in there. And I always like to check these sheaths, these things here, because that's where, if they're going to, there's another one, see? It's hidden underneath that sheath. And because we put alcohol on there, it just comes up really easily, which means the insecticides get in there and they kill them. But yeah, you really want to check these things. But phallies are renowned for just all of a sudden, a couple of months after you've got them, you also find, particularly with those little alligator clips. I'll do a video on one of these because I've got one at work. We buy orchids now rather than flower bouquets because it's cheaper. But they always get the Dr. Trey has to come to the rescue. But they underneath the alligator clips or in the joints of the flower spike, you just all of a sudden start seeing mealybug appear, and they're often just in the potting mix. They don't even potting mix in the bark. And they just all of a sudden appear in plants. I'm just making sure I've got everything. So that's the insecticide. It's been on there for a while. I'm going to leave it there for a bit longer so the plant absorbs it. Now this is in quarantine. So I'm just going to wash my hands, and then we're going to then just get a plate. We're going to put that on the plate. We're going to put that in another room where there are no plants, and then hopefully that's going to, oh, what I didn't do is spray the flowers, you just never know. And there we go. Now, that is just dripping. Then we're going to clean up the bench, of course, because this is pretty toxic stuff. And you know, I wouldn't hate for someone in the house to put their breakfast on here tomorrow morning and end up in hospital. But what that's done is it's killed anything else that may have survived in the house, and I think I'd like to go to bed knowing that I've done that. Right, that's it.